guys, this is Miss Jolly, and I am getting ready to read you the story Dasher by Matt Tavares. I hope that you have already looked at the book trailer that I have shared with your teacher, but if not, I know that you will enjoy this book just the same. Remember, as we're reading this book, we are going to be thinking about how to best summarize it, and I hope that you will enjoy it as much as I do. Dasher. You may have heard the story of how a certain red-nosed reindeer was chosen to guide Santa's sleigh one foggy Christmas Eve. You've probably heard of the 8 other reindeer too. Maybe you can even remember all their names. But you might be surprised to hear that there was a time long ago when Santa's sleigh was pulled not by a team of reindeer, but by a single horse named Silverbell. In those days, Santa didn't have quite as many toys to deliver as he does now. But over the years, as more and more children believed in the magic of Christmas, Santa's list grew longer and longer, and his sleigh grew heavier and heavier. Santa knew that pretty soon dear old Silverbell was going to need some help. This is the story of how an ordinary family of reindeer became the most famous animals in the world. And it never would have happened if it weren't for a brave young doe named Dasher. Dasher by Matt Tavares. Life was not easy for the reindeer family of J.P. Finnegan's traveling circus and menagerie. They spent long days crammed together under the hot sun as an endless stream of curious people jostled to catch a glimpse of them. You could see the crowd of people. And remember, jostled means that they're pushing and shoving to try to get to see. Even at night, there was little rest. Some nights, to pass the time, Mama would tell stories. It was a magical place, she would say. The air was crisp and cold, and the ground was always covered with a cool blanket of white snow. Your father and I were free to roam under the glow of the North Star. Dasher, the youngest reindeer, loved Mama's stories. Is that the North Star, Mama? She asked. The very same, Mama said. We always knew we were home when it was directly overhead. I wish we could go there, said Dasher. Mama sighed. I do too, she said. But Mr. Finnegan is not kind to animals who try to escape. You can see that they're kept in the stables with a fence. Day after day, under the watchful eye of Mr. Finnegan, the reindeer family delighted crowds wherever they went. Dasher liked being with her family, and she loved meeting so many children who were always kind to her. Sometimes they even fed her carrots, which were her very favorite food. But at night, while the others were sleeping, she would lie awake, gazing at the bright star on the horizon, wishing for crisp, cold air and cool blankets of white snow. One night, mighty winds shook the circus tents and rattled the animals' cages. Dasher was wide awake, wishing on the North Star, when she was startled by a loud creak. The gate to the pen had swung open. Dasher could hear rustling from inside Mr. Finnegan's trailer. She glanced up at the North Star. She looked back at her sleeping family. She knew that this might be her one and only chance. Her heart pounded. She took a deep breath and then she ran as fast as she could. You can see right here where she has escaped. On she went for hours with the North Star as her guide, but no matter how far she traveled, it was still way off on the horizon. Dasher began to wonder if she would even make it there. She thought about turning back, but she couldn't remember the way. She didn't know what to do. She looked up at the North Star and made a wish. Just then, Dasher heard something in the distance, a soft jingling coming from the woods. What could it be? What could be jingling in the woods? There, in a clearing, Dasher saw a man and a horse. "I'm sorry, Santa," said the horse. "The sleigh is just so heavy this year." The man smiled. "Now don't you worry, Silverbell," he said. "We'll take all the breaks you need." "But the children," said the horse, "they'll be heartbroken if we can't deliver all those toys by Christmas morning." "Children?" thought Dasher. She stepped forward. "Maybe I could help," she said. This beautiful picture. How to get the glare off. You can see Dasher's right here listening to this conversation. "Well, hello there," said the man. Dasher walked closer. The man smiled. "Have you ever pulled a sleigh?" he asked. Dasher shook her head. "I've never even seen a sleigh," she said, "but I pull a wagon just about every night." "Well," said the man, "how would you like to make a whole bunch of children really happy on Christmas morning?" "I would love that very much," said Dasher. Santa thanked Dasher and attached her harness. It was soft against her fur, and its jingling bells made the most beautiful sound she had ever heard. Santa climbed into his sleigh. Dasher pulled with all her might, and then suddenly the load felt lighter. Dasher looked down. They were flying. All night, Dasher and Silverbell pulled Santa's sleigh through the air as Santa guided it from rooftop to rooftop, delivering toys to children everywhere. Dasher had never experienced such a thrill. As she ate she ate so many carrots, she felt like she would burst. She was having so much fun, she forgot all about the North Star. As the first light of dawn appeared on the horizon, they landed. The air was crisp and cold. The ground was covered with a cool blanket of white snow. Dasher searched for the North Star on the horizon but couldn't find it anywhere. Santa smiled. "Dasher," he said, "look up." And there it was, directly overhead. "Is that The North Star? She asked. Santa's eyes twinkled. Merry Christmas, he said, and welcome home. Now, don't you think Dasher feels so good to be home? But do you think maybe she misses someone? Maybe your family? Let's see what happens. The North Pole was just as wonderful as Mama's stories. Dasher roamed wherever she pleased, and Santa gave her all the carrots she wanted. But something was missing. I love it here, she told Santa, but I miss my family. I wish we could be together. Santa smiled. That's your best wish yet, Dasher, he said. Let's go find them. Late that night, Dasher guided Santa's sleigh all the way to J.P. Finnegan's traveling circus and menagerie. Mama, Papa, Dasher whispered, everyone wake up. Mama lifted her head. Dasher, she said, is it really you? It's me, Mama, said Dasher. She told her family all about Santa and Silver Bell and how the North Pole was just as amazing as Mama's stories. But I missed you, she said. You were all I wished for. Dasher led her family to Santa's sleigh, and Santa attached their harnesses. You're not going to believe this part, she said. When Christmas Eve arrived, Silverbell watched as Santa prepared his team. Are you sure you don't want to come? Asked Dasher. I'm sure, said Silverbell. I know the 8 of you will do a fine job. Late that night, as Santa and his new team of reindeer soared around the world, he called them by name for the very first time. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Blitzen. On Christmas morning, after all the toys had been delivered, they flew back to the North Pole, where they still live happily today. There, the air is crisp and cold. The ground is always covered with a cool blanket of white snow. And Dasher has everything she ever wished for. Isn't that a wonderful story? I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. You know, it is so true. There are so many things to wish for, but when you are together with the people who love you, that is the best gift of all. I hope you enjoyed Dasher, and I hope that you will check out Matt Tavares and the other books that he has in the library. He's a wonderful author and illustrator. Now, now that we've finished with the book, I want you to think back. I want you to think back to how this book started. If you will remember, Dasher was kept in a traveling circus. And her family was used to pull all of the trailers of animals from town to town. And even though some of the children were nice and gave them carrots and it wasn't such a bad life, she wished for something. Do you remember what she wished for? Remember the stories that Mama told her about the cool, beautiful place under the North Star at the North Pole. And finally, she got her chance. She went for it. She didn't know exactly where she was roaming to, but she knew she needed to follow the North Star till she ran into someone very special. And then she got a very special job. And as happy as Dasher was, she knew something was missing. She had a wish, and she wished, and Santa helped her have her wish granted. So, what I would like for you to do, I would like for you on a piece of paper or in your reading journal, I would like for you to write a summary of this book. I would like for you to write just a few sentences summarizing, and if you will remember, if you watched my other video, what summarizing means, it's in your own words, and it talks about the most important details that happened in the story. Shouldn't be very long, just a few sentences, and then add an illustration. Make sure to share your work with your teacher, and I hope your teacher will share that with me. Have a wonderful day, and I look forward to reading another book to you very soon. Merry Christmas!